Welcome back to NFL's Bettors Edge. We got Sunday action for Week 7. We've got 5 picks. So we're going to have 2 in the 1 o'clock slot, 2 in the 4 o'clock slot, and the Sunday night football game. But don't forget, before we get to it, like, subscribe, and turn on that promo or that notifications once you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the stuff we do here daily at Picks and Parlays. And then use that promo code EDGE. Of course, we like all these picks. These are all free picks for us, but none of them are going to be premium selections for us. So those we always save for our customers that pay us. So go over, use that promo code EDGE, and get any of us or any of our other cappers at Picks and Parlays. Okay, guys, let's kick it off. Oops, that's Thursday night football. How about we kick it off with a Sunday game? NFL Week 7 kicks it off early. Well, there's actually a London game, so this isn't the kickoff, but we're not going to cover that game. Didn't think it was that great a game, to be honest. This is a good game. Lions, Vikings. Vikings minus 2.5. Totals 50. Cam, this is like you either think that Vikings defense is for real, and they'll probably win the game if that's the truth, or you think they can't slow down what it looks like the best offense in the league in the Lions. Totals 50 here. Vikings minus 2.5. What do you like?
This one is tricky. Both teams are playing really, really well. They're the top teams in the NFC North. The NFC North actually might be the best division in football. 5-0, 4-1, 4-2, 4-2. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm going to take them. They're the home team. They're undefeated. They're playing good. I think no Hutchinson is going to be an issue for Detroit up front. They're going to have a lot of moving pieces to make up for him not being there. I think Minnesota is going to thrive in front of their home fans, keep it going, get a big win as the slight favorite, and stay undefeated against a really good Detroit team.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of overreaction here. 58% of on Wednesday night when we're recording this, 58% are on the away underdog here at plus 2.5. 67% on the over after what they did to the Cowboys, which makes me a little worried. Higgs, what do you think?
Have you seen the Cowboys this year, folks? They got a bad offensive line, no running game, 1 wide receiver. Their best 2 defensive players are out and have a whole new scheme plan on defense. That is what happens when you have a bad defense. So putting up a 50 on Dallas, we saw the Saints put that up. We saw Baltimore score 30 before halftime. I mean, Dallas is not a good team. Yeah, let's bump up the total here and come back with an under with the Vikings, because the Vikings, you got to love it. They come back from England and they take a bye week like a smart team. They're not the moronic Jets or the Jaguars who want to play the next week after traveling across the pond. They take a bye week and get ready for their division rival, and they come in with a better defense, a revamped offense. Give me the under 50 here. Give me the under. I know we get a little overreaction from this was a 1. It's gone up to 2.5 based on Hutchinson, a whole 1.5 for a guy going out. I don't know about that. I don't care. I love that they crushed Dallas last week, under 50 off a bye week with the defense is for real, folks. Did you see what they did to the Niners? Did you see what they did to the Texans, who are supposed to be, this year's hot little squad? They'll do the same here to Detroit, under the 50. Sorry, Lenny.
Well, I think the big question here for me is the Vikings, I think, have played one healthy team, and that was the Texans. When they faced the Niners in that second week, they were like decimated with injuries. So we really don't think we know what we see in this. And they faced the Jets across the pond, and that was they did not look good on offense that game to Minnesota. I mean, they scored, one of their touchdowns was a pick 6. I kind of like the over here. I think the Lions are going to struggle to stop people without Hutchinson. I really do. They don't like to blitz a whole lot. They got a lot of pressure from their just rushing their front 4. They're not going to be able to do that. Not without Hutchinson. So I think they're going to have to, which I think will allow some big plays with Jefferson down the field. I know it's a huge public play, so it's not going to be one of my best plays, but if I had to play this game, I would play the over. I probably would play the Lions as well, but the much stronger for those two would be the over in this one. All right, second game. Maybe not nearly good division matchup, I guess. Eagles, I thought the Eagles would be better this year because the way they were terrible down the stretch last year, I was like, man, they're going to make a lot of changes. And they got Barkley. I thought they did. I mean, he's played great, but it's like everybody else hasn't played quite as good. Higgs, why don't you start us off here? Eagles minus 3, total 43. I mean, that's a Giants team that sounds like they get back neighbors, though.
I like the Giants. This was a 4.5, and I'm like, sign me up for 4.5 with the Giants. Now at 3, it's like at this point you're looking at pushes at a field goal here, right? Because the Eagles team, I'm with you. I had them on week 1 thinking you got to get last year's taste out of your mouth. You brought in new offense coordinator, defense coordinator. Now it's on Sirianni. The guy's getting in fights with the fans the other day. I mean, what is going on with this team? How about we do a little overaction here? Because I think, as you said, Neighbors is back. Giants surprisingly score points. I know we saw a really ugly game the other last week to start up, but I don't know. I think we're going to get some more action here. Barkley's going to want a lot to prove here. They're familiar with each other. I don't think it's going to be one of those 19-13 games. I think this game actually creeps up into the mid-20s. I'm going to kind of buck because I think people are going to be on the under in this one with these two knucklehead squads. I'm going to go over the 43 here for me.
I love props when players go back against their former team, especially when they feel disrespected.
Right.
And Barkley has to feel as disrespected because they paid the quarterback that is average at best, and Daniel Jones, and they let him walk. To me, I think I would play over 2 touchdowns. I play the over rushing, over receiving. I would parlay them. Some books let you parlay these together. I mean, this guy is going to, and the Eagles are going to help their star player kind of get that revenge. I think he has a big day here. I think the Eagles win and win big, kind of like rallying around him. And I know the Giants get back Neighbors, but I just don't think it's enough. Cam, what do you think?
Yeah, Daniel Jones isn't even average. He's terrible. He's terrible. I agree with you though. I think the Eagles are going to roll in this game. I think this is a must-have. Washington, behind their young quarterback, they've jumped out and they're in control of this division. But this division is much closer than it should be. Even with the terrible Cowboys, the Giants lost to the Cowboys. The Giants have been terrible. I don't think Neighbors is enough. I think the Eagles, this is one of those games they have to win. They have to get it done if they're going to have a chance to win this division. I'm going to take the Eagles to, as you said, rally around Saquon and get it done against one of the worst teams in the NFC.
Well, I would be remiss. This is the biggest public favorite of the week, 72%. That is why I'm worried about this game. That is the one worry, because anytime you see this big a public action on a game, it is very rare. I mean, it seems like Vegas wins these 75% of the time. And what happened is that the Giants will lose but miss Eagles miss an extra point.
The lines come down. This was 4.5. It's threes now. It was 3.5.
So it's going the opposite way. Yet there's 72% of the actual number of bets, not the dollar amount wagered. Obviously, that means there's some action on the Giants that's bringing this number down. And I also think Neighbors playing looks like he's going to play. That probably brought this down.
How does he? He's had a week and a half, 2 weeks, and they're talking about Olave might play today. Like I know, and we're doing this ahead of the Thursday night game. They're talking about he might even play, and he had a concussion on Sunday, and this guy's been out for a week and a half. We don't know his status up in the air.
Well, these baseline, these
player safety, everybody.
It's crazy. You just, I always assume someone's out, even if they're they're saying look like they're going to play, they're questionable. I always assume they're out because, that seems to be a lot of, where they play hey, we're going to take it, especially like Neighbors. You're talking about one of the best wide receivers look like for the future. So it's the Giants season isn't this year. It's going to be, hey, we're going to get rid of Daniel Jones, probably get a new quarterback and kind of build around Neighbors. I'm guessing. So. All right, so next game we're looking at, it's going to be the Super Bowl matchup again. It was a Super Bowl matchup from last year. The 49ers have not looked like, but Christian McCaffrey is not there. That is and it doesn't sound like he's coming back anytime soon. I was a little shocked to see 49ers favorite by 1, total 47. Cam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with what you just said. I don't think they should be favored. Without McCaffrey, they've looked terrible. The defense hasn't been phenomenal. They just, they've won some games, but they're giving up a ton of points. They just don't look good to me. I don't think they're going to be able to hang. I get, both teams are injured. Rashee Rice and Pacheco are both on injured reserve. So is Hollywood Brown. But the Chiefs have just looked good, and this is one of those games that both teams get up for. I think the Chiefs are going to be too much. I think the Chiefs are going to get it done. This one may move more farther in the opposite direction. It's really, really close to a pick 'em. It opened at 1.5, but I think the Chiefs are going to stay undefeated and get the win out west.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that the Chiefs have not. Patrick Mahomes has not played great. I mean, he's actually turned the ball over this year, but that defense, as good as they were last year, they stepped it up an extra. And it's like they just continue to find ways to win games. And that's like they never panic. It's like they don't chase points early. I mean, they just stay with the game plan and they know what they have. I mean, Kelsey hasn't played great this year. I mean, really, the guy that was playing, Rice was the guy that was playing unbelievable for him. He goes out. It's like they bring in guys off the trash heap, and it's like, they bring out Kareem Hunt. All of a sudden, he's amazing again. Higgs, what do you think in this matchup? Is the Chiefs continue to find ways to win, or you think the 49ers get a little revenge for Super Bowl?
Since Hill left, it's been a defensive team. They've been pretty good on defense. But you mentioned bringing guys off the trash heap. It's pretty good when you have Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes throwing the ball. What are we doing here? I've tried going against Kansas City at times as an underdog. I did it in the playoffs last year, and it cost me from Buffalo to Baltimore to the Niners in the Super Bowl. Andy Reid is 21-3 regular season off bye weeks. Not too bad. 20, out of 24 games, and they're catching a point here. 8-2 with Kansas City off bye weeks. 13-3-1 ATS Kansas City as an underdog with 6 straight wins. What are we doing here? I got Mahomes. Sometimes you just can't overthink things. It's Kansas City or nothing here. They just win. They'll play down to some teams and not cover their 6s and 4.5s. You're like, oh, they just got won by a touchdown. They just wins. It's a field goal. They don't care because they're going to Super Bowl. This one here, it might be revenge for the Niners, but the Chiefs would be like, oh, you think you're going to get us? Are we guys shocked when the Chiefs win this like 34-20 and JJ Schuster, whoever the heck that guy is, has like 2 touchdown passes, 114 yards, and who else they got? Some
Juju.
Right, Juju. Yeah. I mean, like worthy. Well, why are we going to be shocked here when Kansas City wins this game? Like, don't.
To me, it's
Andy Reid with a bye week is just money in the bank.
It's like the players on the name on the back of the jersey doesn't matter for the Chiefs. They're just like they're in the right spot. They have guys that just do their job. This kind of reminds me of the Patriots when they had that dynasty rolling, where it really didn't matter. As long as you had Brady and you had Belichick, you were good. Now that's Mahomes and like Kelsey kind of looks like maybe he's kind of hit a little bit of age catching up to him. Hasn't mattered.
Noah Fant's been all right. Noah Fant's.
Yeah, I mean,
is that who their tight end is right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's like they find guys through the draft. They don't have big name guys. They're not out there paying big free agents. I guess they kind of did Hollywood Brown, and he hasn't even played. So to me, I'm taking the Chiefs. There's no way I'm letting this team. I'm just not trying to get outthink myself. I'm taking the Chiefs plus the plus 105. I'm taking them on the
Noah Gray, not Noah Fant.
Yeah.
I know there's two Noahs were tight ends back in the day. I don't know.
All right, so last 4:00 game we're looking at. The terrible Raiders trade Devontae Adams. So welcome to the Jets, Devontae Adams. You got out of there. Maybe Max Crosby's next. Who knows? Playing a Rams team that, like they were really banged up early, but, McVay continues. He's like the mastermind, just moving the pieces around. Big favorite here, -7, total 43.5. Higgs, is there any chance for the Raiders? Because the quarterback play has been, suspect is that's like a positive term for those guys. I mean, they have been bad.
This was a 4. It's gone to a 7 since the trade, and that's basically what the locker room is gone, right? The head coach is overmatched here against McVay. Rams off the bye week, getting guys back. I got to take the Rams here. The Raiders. I thought this was a 5-win team anyway. I thought it was an under-win total type team. Like people are like, oh yeah, the Raiders. Like, What are we missing here, folks? They won a couple games last year, fluky kind of wins versus bad teams that had their own problems, and people thought this team was going to be a good team. No, not. This is to me Rams 7. Rams going away. Alternate line at 2 touchdowns. I'd go 10-11. I think I think this game. Are the Raiders scoring 10 points? Are they scoring 10 points? Really? No.
Under Raiders total.
Yeah, I'd rather go over. I'd rather have a alternate line with the Rams, as they say, ladder it up like 10, 12, 14, 15 points and just keep going. I think it'll be 30-6 or something.
This is the buyer beware when you go hire guys that are interim coaches and they kind of, everybody kind of plays for these interim guys. They usually are good stories. Antonio Pierce is one of those guys. And then all of a sudden, it sounds like he's kind of lost the locker room like a week or two ago. And it's like, dude, he hadn't even been there a full year yet. And you guys are like bailing on him. And, I think Devontae Adams, he wanted out because look at the quarterback situation. We saw it on the quarterback show that was on Netflix or whatever. I mean, he didn't sound like he was happy last year and then, forced his way out. Cam, is maybe like this is like buy low. This is as low as you're going to get on the Raiders, right?
Yeah, they're bad. Gardner Minshew, he's been a journey guy. He's bounced around. But having the full keys and everything like that, he's just not that guy. It's really, really hard to take a 1-win team to win by a ton, but this is where you do it. I agree. I'm going to take the Rams. I think they're going to roll. They, as you said, they're supposed to get some guys back. They're the worst team in their division, but the best two teams in their division are 3-3. So, it's not outrageous for them to run them down, for them to make a little bit of noise. I think the Rams are going to roll in this game. Their defense, I think, will step up, will play better. I'll take the Rams to cover the big number in their home stadium and try to start turning their season around.
I will say I'm not a big fan of the Rams or the Chargers at home because they don't have huge home field advantage because LA people, they seem to just sell to the fans that are visiting, and the Raiders, obviously a lot of the Oakland people I'm guessing are going to be in this game. So this is as low as you're going to get on the Raiders, but I can't take the Raiders. I'm taking the under. I don't think they score a touchdown. I just really don't. Like they find ways. It's like they'll get a first down and say, "Oh, look, there's a holding penalty." There's it's like the penalties are killing them. Everything is killing them, and I just don't see them doing it. I like the under 43.5 in this one. Now we finish up Sunday Night Football. Speaking of Devontae Adams, here's where he shows up. And guess what? Says he's going to play this week. Well, go figure. All of a sudden he's healthy. And the Steelers, hey, we're pretty good. How about Mike Tomlin saying maybe Russell Wilson will actually get the start? It's like, I don't understand what that would do because we've seen what Russell, like, I was shocked when he said that in a press conference. Maybe he's just giving something for the Jets to have to prepare for that's not, like the running game and the maybe short passes that we've seen more from Justin Fields. But Cam, like, is this like a worrisome spot? We see the Jets favored in this one. I thought actually the Steelers should be favored by 1. So that's a 3-point swing. Is it just because Devontae Adams here?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's an overreaction. I've said it a bunch. I don't think Devontae Adams saves his team. I don't think he's going to be the savior for them. They have more issues than that. Their defense is bad. Their offensive line isn't great. They have a lot of kinks, but like you said, it does seem to be trending towards Russell Wilson. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. I think the Steelers, they might feel disrespected. Oh, you think you're going to beat us just because you have this one new receiver? They're playing okay. They've lost to the Colts and they lost to Cowboys, which was crazy. But either way, I think the Steelers are the better team. I think they're going to win this game. And history has repeated itself over and over and over again. Mike Tomlin figures out ways to win games. And I think this is going to be one of those games. I'm going to take the Steelers to cover the points at home on primetime.
Higgs, this is I guess maybe like, people keep remembering that Cowboys game and how bad the Steelers were. Like, they had a million chances to put the Cowboys away and couldn't do it. And that people think that. But it's like, well, did we see the Jets last week? Because they missed 2 field goals. They had a million chances, a million penalties. And some of them were bad calls, I thought. But a lot of them were holding and procedural penalties. They were the right calls. So to me, I don't think Jets should be favored, but we've seen how Steelers going to play. We know Mike Tomlin's great as an underdog. So that's the key here, right, Higgs?
Yeah. What do we get on Steelers? No matter what, whoever's coaching, who's ever quarterback, and they're going home with defense first. They should have beat Dallas. They got behind early versus the Colts. They just win games. And as I said, maybe we get a Russell sighting, and people are down on Russell. The guy threw 26 touchdown passes last year for a crap Denver team and threw for 3,000 yards. So as much as he's cooked, he still produces a little on the field. That's besides the point. You mentioned the Jets on Monday Night Football. Short week. You lost the game you should have won, missing field goals, bad interception, and Rodgers doing what he does to players on his team, blaming it. Oh, yeah, he fell down. It's his fault. Like, he was supposed to go this way, not this way. You lost to Denver, right? I mean, this team's supposed to be like a great defense. The
At
defense
home.
yells. You yell at the old quarterback. Monday night was a game you think they would have won. We got rid of Salah. He's the problem, right? He's the problem. They couldn't even rally. We've seen teams rally. Hello, they bench Bryce Young. They come out and drop 50 points on the Raiders. I don't care that they're a Raider. I mean, teams usually say, watch us play now. You didn't get that from Aaron Rodgers. And now Devontae Adams there. If I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm asking for a trade. What am I doing here? I was saying that I was doing my show time. It's like The Hangover. Like, we're the three best friends that we ever had. Him, Lazard, Adams. What are we doing here? Get me out of this place. He's just bringing in his friends. And you don't win. You haven't won with your friends. How are you favored here? Because you got Devontae Adams. Okay, Steelers outright. Thank you.
I think this game is going to be one of my best bets, so I'm not going to talk about the side. I think this game screams under first half because the Jets defense actually was pretty banged up last week. I mean, they were doing it with stopgap guys and really played pretty well on defense. I mean, they were put in some bad situations. I think this first half's under in this one for the free play. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game in the first half. The Steelers they would like to have as few possessions as possible.
Yeah.
And run the ball, play defense, Steeler football. I think this screams under just because Devontae Adams here. I don't think you're going to see instant like them putting up a bunch of points. I'm going to play the under in the first half, but my best bet's going to be
they got their points off a 50-yard bomb as time expired in the first half. I mean, folks.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, it was a rough game, but it's also, remember, they played the overseas game 2 weeks ago. Last week, Monday Night Football, short week, and you have to travel to Pittsburgh. And you're playing probably the most physical team in the league. I mean, the Steelers are going to, and you're an old guy playing the third game, have all that travel. Going to be a rough week for Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to feel this. Watt is going to be hitting him every time. So there we go. That's what we have for today. Those are our 5 free picks. Don't forget, make sure you like and subscribe, and you get in all of our best bets over at the website. Use that promo code EDGE to get in on them. We'll see you back again next week with Bettors Edge. Good luck.